This is Kevin, your entrepreneur. Even though this is a live stream, this is going to be filmed like a typical video because today I'm very busy and I'm still not feeling like making a lot of videos at the moment. For those of you who are aware of the current situation, are aware, but this needs to be talked about, so we're going to talk about it briefly, and then I gotta go pick up Katie, who is at work because her car, yeah, the car problem. So, anyway, before we get to the news, just real brief, since this is a live stream and since a few of you are here and you were probably up with me last night, thank you once again for spending time with me. I made that video private pretty much instantly right away because the situation with my dog being killed on Christmas Eve is unfortunately a family matter, and there's still a lot of hard feelings about it, and I just needed to talk, and and you guys were there for me, so thank you so much. But, well, we gotta talk about this very briefly because even though I had my, worries that this actually wasn't going to take place, it looks like SoftBank is actually in the process, has decided to accept Uber's offer, or whoever made the offer, to buy about $9 billion worth of Uber stock at a 30% discount or something like that. One of the problems with doing these news stories live is that, of course, I don't, But anyway, so with this deal, SoftBank would get a 30% controlling stake in Uber at a discount, which would take the valuation from Uber from 70 billion to about 48 billion. Still a huge valuation, but considering Lyft has jumped to like 13 billion or something in the last few months, that's not, when it comes to an IPO, that's not the kind of valuation drop you necessarily want. And some people might be asking, well, why does Uber do this? Why do they want this? And there's a few reasons they want to do this. First of all, they still want to show up Lyft that they can raise money too. Lyft has gotten much better at raising money recently, partly because people who would probably invest in Uber decided they don't want to invest in Uber, they want to invest in Lyft. Lyft is essentially the same product from an investor's point of view, only it comes without much of the baggage. I know that drivers, or at least a lot of drivers, don't like Lyft, and that's fine. Lyft is definitely a little bit worse about deactivating people than Uber is, even if they're more clear about why you're being deactivated, if you ask Jay from the rideshare guy. But, you know what? If you're an investor in Lyft and you're talking about business decisions, Lyft is friendlier with the drivers on the surface. They are friendlier with the public on the surface. And their CEO, who was accused of espionage, spying, and sexual harassment, he has not done any of those things that we are aware of, and seems to be an upstanding guy for the most part. So that's why investors are going to Lyft. So Uber needed to show Lyft that they could still raise capital. And an Uber insider in this article, which I will link to below later after I pick up Katie and we deal with some more of the car issues, even said that they're hoping this will kind of encourage Lyft to, as they say, not try to beat them on the pricing. Like Uber, Uber doesn't want, I know Uber does not want Lyft to keep fighting them on the prices because, Lyft has been keeping their rates low, or not for the drivers, but for the customers, as Uber has. They've matched them, and they're kind of hoping that, because both companies know this is not a money-making solution. This is why they lose so much. But they don't want, no one wants to be the first to officially raise the prices. So, because they think that the customers will drop their service and come to their service. So Uber wants to kind of force Lyft to raise the prices this way, or at least create the perception so that they will. So that's one of the reasons. The other reason is that basically the way Uber was set up with the board voting ended up biting them in the long run. I mean, I keep complaining over and over again, why is Travis Kalanick still on the board? He is clearly responsible for almost all of this company's problems, including the very illegal things he's done, and he will probably go to jail at one point. That said, he is still one of the biggest stockholders, and he still has super votes, which is why, even with a new CEO, he could do things like appoint 2 new board members without consulting anyone. Well, SoftBank's investment, should it go through, because it hasn't gone through yet, we'll talk about that in a moment, that essentially means Kalanick's super voting power gets taken away. Heck, this might even be the only way to get Kalanick out of the company altogether, which SoftBank would not agree to the terms unless the buyout helped them remove Kalanick from power, which leads me to assume that should the deal be accepted, Kalanick might not even be in the company for much longer, which I think we can all agree is a good thing. And of course, for some Uber investors who have watched the value of their company just, explode, well, not explode, but deplode, whatever the term is, who invested money and they invested this much in, they expect to make this much, and on the inside, they know the company's really worth this much. This gives them a chance to cash out early. Now, they will probably still be cashing out at a profit, but not nearly as much as they were. So, and what does SoftBank get out of this? Well, I looked at what SoftBank did. And SoftBank is a Japanese company that sells electronic communication devices, aka cell phones, in Japan. Now, they have wanted to branch out into other investments. In fact, in a story that I missed, they actually invested $300 million in DoorDash. And, I can't believe I missed that story, because it's like, that suggests they're doing good. But as I look at SoftBank's acquisitions, they always go after companies that they feel have great potential in them, but they are struggling and they are desperate, and that's when they lead in, hey, we will use your money with a little bit of cash, inject some money into you, and we will help you for the future, but you will give us a controlling stake. And it's kind of one of those buy low, sell high for businesses. You see the potential in the money-losing operation, and you buy into it, and hopefully you can turn it around. And this has been going on for a long time, because believe it or not, Chuck E. Cheese pizza, for those of you who know what that is and have kids and know how terrible that pizza is, but you take it because, you have kids and all that jazz. Chuck E. Cheese was founded by Nolan Bushnell of Atari, who decided to combine the concept of video games and a pizzeria restaurant as a family joint, and it hemorrhaged money. It had to file for bankruptcy, and Nolan Bushnell had to sell Chuck E. Cheese to, I forget if it was Pizza Time or Showtime Pizza. And we're not talking about the 90s. We're talking about like the early 80s when it was just launched and it almost went under. But whoever bought it figured out how to make money with it. And that's what SoftBank is trying to do with them expanding. They are buying into companies that, from an investor's perspective, have potential, but they are struggling and they will not make it without new leadership or new money. And that's what SoftBank does. And if you sell cell phones, then this makes perfect sense, because DoorDash and Uber are dependent on cell phones and smartphones, and that's what it is. So this is a very smart investment for them. Now, here's the thing, and this is the last thing I will comment on before we end this. Thank you for everyone for watching live. Is that this deal could still fall through. I don't know how the voting works with this, but Uber has to approve this deal by Thursday or it's off the table. And I don't know if Travis Kalanick's super voting power can get in the way of it. So this could still very well not happen. And I guess we will have to see what that looks like, because it's, Uber has been desperate for this deal, even though I think it honestly bones them in every way possible. They lose a lot of control. They practically put themselves up for like a takeover from a Japanese company. And the cash that they are offering Uber, like the actual cash to run operations is $1 billion. And considering Uber's been losing like $1.5 billion every 3 months, they basically get like a month and a half or so of operating. It's not a great deal for Uber. So that shows that they're either that desperate, they need the money that badly, or they need to get rid of certain management and change the way they set it up drastically enough that they're willing to do this, or a little of both. So that's why we're still talking about this. But I have to say, I was very surprised. I thought this deal was dead because I hadn't heard about it for a couple weeks, and apparently SoftBank accepted, and Uber on Thursday will they will accept it or reject it, and I guess we're just gonna have to see which one they decide to do. And on Thursday we'll know. So anyway, that's all for today's video. Thank you so much for all the people who watched this live. I'm sorry I was not more interactive. This was not supposed to be an interactive video. This was just a quick way to get the news out there. And, you know, because I kind of felt like if I didn't do it live today, I would probably not do it at all, because I'm still very sad, as you can probably imagine, about what happened to the dog. And, you know, this was just a compromise. So I'm just kind of going to slowly get back into the YouTube game this week. And there's a couple topics I'm thinking about, and even a collaboration video I'm planning. So hopefully the end of the year and the beginning of the new year, you will see a new entrepreneur. And I'm still wearing the hat because there was a skit I wanted to do to signify the removing of the Santa hat and the putting back the beanie. But that was supposed to take place on December 26th, and to be honest, no one was feeling like doing much of anything on December 26th in my family. But thank you for all your condolences. Thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. And if you like, and I'd like to know your opinion on the deal. We're going to end this like a normal video. Comment below, like, favorite, share, subscribe. And if you enjoy the other videos I make, consider becoming a Patreon member for as little as $1 a month. Thank you, sleeping elephants. I'm sorry, I had like a brain fart there. For your contribution. People like you help make videos like this possible. And as always, flame responsibly. Have a good one.